All right, so we're in better shape now. We got the stove going, got coffee in the works. That's critical to this mission.
It is. It is.
So,
any mission.
I mean, we've done some good talk so far. I mean, we covered fall and winter, and you know, I think the blades that we've talked about realistically could have worked for any season, but they were very specific for this reason. But we're turning the corner. We're coming out of winter. The bears are waking up, coming out of hibernation. Snow's starting to melt.
Yeah.
We get you know, animals and wildlife, and you know, finally a little bit of warmth in the air. But we got to pick a blade. What are we gonna pick?
So we're going into the spring. Spring, typically you think mud, right? The thaw. But you're still gonna have some potential really cold days and or nights. You know, you're gonna have still a good amount of wood processing, because if you're finding deadfall, it's been under heavy snow, moisture content. You're gonna have to crack it, split it, get in that core, get the feathers maybe inside that core wood to get to the dry stuff. However, you know, I'm less worried about heavy duty wood processing than I am in the winter, so I could bring it down a little bit, maybe lower the weight a little bit, shorten the size so I can start to strap it on my body instead of my loadout or my gear, my vehicle. So a Becker for the spring.
Becker for the spring.
Yeah. So you recognize it right away, right?
I think I do. I mean, there's a few different blade shapes that could fit in there. There were 3 of them actually, and I'm thinking I know which one you brought. But okay, so you could go 15, 16, or 17, all with the same handles, same blade length, same sheath. For me, personally, I love the BK16. I think it's the style that would resonate with everybody. No problem at all. Good quality. This is completely different from your other one. I mean, we've seen a BK16 from Joe in the past. If you followed us on episode 1, this is one of the knives that we said, well, what makes a knife great? But it wasn't this knife.
It wasn't that exact BK16. This one I did buy on eBay, and whoever the person was that modded it is absolutely amazing. Before the knife connection scales were offered, a gentleman named Joe Sonorski had a little small family-run business, cranking out different, most times using micarta, a lot of hand finishing. Okay, this is the patent, his business that he sold to the knife connection.
Wow.
And they use CNC machining obviously now, but that's an OG scale.
Oh, so
that's not machined.
Hand finished.
Hand finished.
Dude, that's sick.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh man, that's a great look too. I love the liners in there. I'm a big fan of that sort of toxic green generally. I like the look, I like the shape, and it looks great just popping off the tang there. All right, so you're starting to really lighten things up.
I really am starting to lighten things up.
I mean, this is your spring. I'm not talking summer. This is your spring choice.
It is my spring choice. A lot of it is the way it's also carried. This is the standard K-bar sheath, and even though the previous owner did some really cool mod, took off the...
oh, interesting. I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah,
man.
So you get right up in there. Looks so good too.
Jeez, that's crazy. I can't believe I didn't even pick up on that.
No.
It's so well done that it looks factory machined.
Right? And they took the coating off, but they did some sort of sanding to it. And look at that 1095, how gorgeous.
It's
almost
beautiful.
Like a tumble matte finish. I can't really describe it.
Now, please tell me this is not a safe queen.
It's not a safe queen.
It's not?
It is! Because I have the other one. I have the other one that I...
Okay, so wait. That's an interesting philosophy. So for you end up with duplicates on some of your blades because one is your pristine safe queen and the other one's your field user.
Yeah, I'm not into, you know, $10,000 knives. Okay, I'd love a Randall. I'd love a, you know, a Bob Loveless. Don't get me wrong. But my stuff is predominantly used, and I do have, you know, 2 daughters, and the whole idea is that at some point in time I want to give them each a BK16. One will be loved, one won't, and some are the other way around. She may get one that's loved and this one is not, but I want one of each to give to both my daughters.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. But going back into the spring, Yeah, we lighten the load dramatically. Okay, this spring I'm starting to move a whole lot more. Weight becomes a bigger concern. I may even go down to a light fleece. And with that said, I want it on my body. Okay, so the previous, again, owner, factory sheath, folded over, some stitching, but manufactured these.
That's cool.
To really put it between, you know, the belt loop. See if it, oh yeah. Put it between the belt loop.
That's
get
smart.
a little bit of dangle and flex.
But it's not going to slide around on you.
No, and,
that's cool.
And this knife is going to do, you know, all the things you're going to want it to do in slightly warmer weather. It's still going to process, you know, 2-inch rounds to baton. You do some great cross batoning if you don't have an axe. You can certainly put your, you know, lanyard through and do some very light twig chopping or dicing up of some, you know, let's say it's seagrass or dried grass, whatever. So for all the intended purposes, what you need a knife to do in slightly warmer weather, by reducing the weight, reducing the length, I mean, it's so light. It's like slightly heavier than a Mora Garbro.
Interesting. Nah, smart. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, especially where you're thinking about getting mobile and moving around and the different activities. That's the thing is, you know, some of this conversation we've been going down like a survival route. It's not all about survival, but it's about the use and the intended use and what you're going to do with it. So for you, where you're being realistic, you're like, hey, you know, I'm going to be putting on some miles, I'm going to be hiking, I'm going to be getting into the wilderness. You do want to stay a little bit lighter, a little more nimble. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's just my own personal opinion.
So that coffee's smelling pretty good, dude.
Yes, it is.
What do you think? We getting close?
We're getting close, but I think there's still your spring blade I'd like to see.
All right, so time to break out one more blade?
Do it.
All right, let's do it. All right, so the philosophy of lightening a little bit of weight. I am totally with you. I think that makes a lot of sense. And so I'm going right down that same road. Now this is one that you may not be all that familiar with. Take a look.
Oh, there was the, yeah, oh. Yeah, you did a video on this, right?
I have.
Did you?
Sort of. I haven't done a full field test or field review on this. I've like teased it and it's bopped in and out of a couple of videos, but I have not yet really brought this completely out into the fold.
I've known about this knife. I think it was in limited production back in the day. It's number one. It's so good looking. And, you know, Rowan isn't Essie. Rowan is the heat treat organization,
correct.
right?
Exactly.
Like Heat Treat, but I think at a much larger scale.
When people hear Rowan, they automatically think Essie.
Right.
I mean, they're kind of synonymous in that regard. You get an Essie for the Rowan heat treat.
Sure.
That's the key. But there's a lot of companies out there that do heat treat.
Yeah.
You think Buck, or you maybe think Boss heat treat. I mean, that's the thing. These companies specialize in heat treating blades. And that's what you're getting here is that Rowan heat treat.
Wow, just the logoing, the USA behind it is so good looking. Oh, I want this. All right, but hold on. So now we're going into
all right, so the crewman, right? So the crewman.
That's the BK5?
Nope. The crewman is the BK10.
It is?
Coffee adjustment. Mid conversation.
Yep.
But sometimes coffee is the important thing.
She's perked.
Nice.
She's perked. Now I told you, Eric, I got a little bit of different twist on oatmeal.
Nice.
And I think if we go over that blade, let this steep a little bit, I'll show you a little different twist on oatmeal.
Nice.
Camp oatmeal.
Love it. All right, so the crewman is the BK10.
Okay.
This is the BK12. Now, I could have gone either way. I don't personally own the crewman, but when you really kind of look at them, they're similar in overall size. I would say this is the closest that you get to a, you know, you have your SE6. This is the closest you come to like the Becker's version or size in blade shape and length to an SE6. This is kind of like the Becker BK6, although they call it the BK12.
Wow.
So, again, it's this is a combination now. So it's a Doug Ritter design and also Ethan Becker. So in combination, the two of them, definitely interesting.
Ritter Becker. Amazing, amazing blade. You know, it's not 1/4 inch stock, so it's still got some nice lightweight, you know, it's not overly heavy. Same, you know, we talked about that same comfortable feel you're used to. It's not native to you. The blade shape is amazing though. I love that, you know, you can really get in there. What's nice about this, you can make some bow drills all day long.
Yes, that so point is definitely centered with the, centered with the handle.
Yep, definitely got the flat going into the, you know, the spine, which right about here. It's probably say about 3/4 up, so that means you're gonna get the ability to crack wood nice.
Yep.
And definitely, you can get some nice chopping, spring. You know, it's still cold out there. Got to make a shelter. Comfortable all day with plenty of chop. Get your branches down. This is a sweet rig. So your reasoning for the spring, Becker?
So yeah, my reasoning is that, again, going back to your thoughts, you're lightening up a bit. So I wanted to go with a blade that was a little more efficient in size. I've always been a big fan of the 6-inch camp knife, no matter what season, it doesn't matter. So for me, it's kind of like that security blanket. I know what I'm getting into, I know how to wield it, I know how to use it efficiently. Not quite as heavy as some of the other blades. Now, granted, I got this crazy lanyard, that's just a takeoff thing. I kind of just put it on there just for fun while it's in my, my knife block.
Looks good.
You know, it's just little weaving practice and things that I do. But again, going back to the idea that this is a blade that I still have in the coated state.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think you're going to have a lot of moisture that you're contending with in the spring, and to have that coating is going to definitely help. And if you look, you will see that I do have a little bit of edge with rust on it. It's not a huge deal. It's not going to affect the knife, but it shows you that 1095 is susceptible to moisture. I used this in the winter. I put it in the sheath, had some moisture on it, and now there's a little bit of rust. Well, it's not a huge deal, but take it to the nth degree with a completely stripped blade, you just end up with more rust and more maintenance and more things to contend with and care for.
True.
For me, just having that little bit of coating helps. Again, the handles being the micarta, it's going to be wet. You're going to be dealing with some wet conditions, having that good grip. Micarta is always really good in the wet conditions. So again, the concept being, this is the blade that I have in my collection that for me fits that niche. And there's a couple of really interesting things that you don't see that happen inside the handles here. There are actually 3 threaded holes with weights. You can change the weight of the handle. So for me, at this point, I took all the weights out because the weight is being compensated with the micarta handle.
Perfect.
Now, had I gone with the Grivery handles or a lighter weight handle, it may play with that. And you can kind of shift where you put them and really fine tune the balance. So for me, this was just a good choice with the right blade length, still dealing with processing some wood, but lightening the package a little bit, and a quality option for dealing with at least some amount of moisture.
Yeah, a couple of thoughts on that, Eric. So, you know, comparing that to the BK16, so big difference here, right? Big weight difference. But also, don't forget, depending on where you live, not all seasons are created equal. Okay, not all springs are created equal.
Right.
Okay, spring in, you know, Florida is a whole lot different than a spring in, you know, Quebec. All right. So, you know, I think with that said, you know, if I was in the Northern Territories, you know, Canadian Rockies, whatever, in that spring, I would want this BK10 because the animals are bigger up there. You're going to have a lot more snow, a lot more to melt. Your chances of getting into a jam because of those extreme conditions, and quite frankly, some of those conditions in that type of spring could be way worse than a winter, even in, let's say, the Adirondacks.
Yeah, it's true.
So not all seasons are created equal. This is an amazing rig. Love them both, but these,
both great.
Yeah, slightly different choices for spring. But whether you had this one or this one, no matter what, you're gonna get the job done. I just like the shape geometry of this because, again, I'd feel a bit more protected. If an animal, God forbid, something were to happen. And this is going more of a bushcraft route.
But both spear points at the same. I mean, that drop point, and you know,
a knife will work. It's all you have, right? It's better than poking them in the eye with your finger. Okay, but 2 absolutely tremendously awesome blades. You see the old school micarta on both of them.
Yeah,
it's just such a nice leathery type feel. But great choice for the spring.
Thanks. And again, I think this is really cool and a great discussion. I love the idea that both of us have different backgrounds, different knowledge, things in the back of our minds, the things that we need to decide based on our situations and our experiences and our collection. And that's going to be the same for you. So what would you guys choose for spring? What would your spring Becker choice be? Would it be something a little smaller like the BK16, or a little bit larger like this BK12? Maybe it's even bigger than this, again, depending on where you live and what your experience is and what you're trying to do. So leave a comment below. Love to hear it.
Definitely.
Okay.
My summer blade is in my other pants.
Get out of town.
I swear to goodness, dude. So we have to just comment on yours.
You son of a bitch.
I can't believe it, dude. And it's a funny one, so you'd laugh your ass off.
Oh, man.
It's freaking hilarious.
Ooh, is it BK11?
Yeah.
Do you need to borrow mine?
You can. Damn it,
that's
dude.
Hilarious.
On that one, let's take a quick moment.
Okay.
Son of a bitch. All right, Eric, I promised you a little bit different spin on oatmeal. So, very
This is
simple.
camp oatmeal?
Very simply put, this is survival attitude camp oatmeal. Perked coffee.
Ooh. Wow.
Yup.
I was wondering if that's where you were going with that.
Yup. It is a leaded oatmeal. This is some standard Quaker oats, but I do have some cinnamon in the oatmeal. And we'll let that get all in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And while we're letting that soak up, I'm just add a little bit of maple syrup.
Oh, dude, that smells amazing.
Right?
Oh, you're making me hungry.
This is Joey style here.
Ooh.
You get the caffeine, you get a little bit of hydration, a little bit of cinnamon, get the blood flowing, a little bit of sweetness of the maple, and so lightweight to pack. I mean, I weighed what, an ounce or two, the whole. But ripstick and good, provide some good energy. We'll let that soak in nice.
Sweet.
Yep.
Interesting consistency, huh?
Yeah. I get a little bit thinner personally, but the bowls were small.
Tastes great. It's strong.
Yes.
You not only do you make a strong coffee, you make a strong oatmeal. Wow. It's good. It's good, but it's definitely strong.
Oh, yeah.
Different twist.
Yep. Well, mushroom coffee was a different twist. The caffeinated oatmeal was a different twist.
That's right. That's good. I'm gonna be jazzed up.
Revved up.
Maybe we will do a couple other videos.